I'll go ahead and start bringing in images. All of these images that I will use there. So I'll go ahead and bring in images. So I'll go to elements and do that under your elements. I will just cancel this. This is the previous search that you made. So here now I'll search for images. So let's search for noodles. All. So it's giving us all, both graphics, photo, video, whatever. I'll just go to photos. I'm much more concerned about photos. Okay, I think we are seeing cool one, but I want an image of noodles that is not really having a background around it. So if you want, you can choose this and just put it so that it will be facing the top. Facing the top like this here, but let's say we'll do something a little bit different. Like I said, we're only using this as a guide. It's not a must we do exactly the same thing that has been done here. Let me move this downwards a little bit. Okay, so I'll go ahead. Let me just use this very first one. Food is having a transparent background. It's not having any background around it, so I'll just click on it. Okay, so food is ready. Scale it down from the side, something like this. Okay, let's say I also want a drinks as well to be by the side. Of course, we are giving a chilled drinks now, so I'll just type in drinks. Like this. Let's just see which one can use. This is okay. It's not having background, but if we put 3, the customers will not be thinking that they will be giving 3 different flavor of drinks for every noodles they buy. So let's not give the wrong impression. Okay, this is good. So I can bring this in. Now, for images, for me personally, I also put it into consideration when choosing images. I put into consideration the color of the image in respect to the color theme I'm using. It's much better, although in some instances you can't help it. It's much better if the color set you are using is also similar to the colors of your image. Like this now, this is orange. You can see orange is here as well as part of my document color. So let me see if I can get something else. I love this, but it's just that it's more of 3. It's more of 3 here. Okay, now let me also put it through this. Now when you see an image, you can look at similar images that are similar to this. So just click on the 3 dots here to view the option for it. You see the name of the person who uploaded it, that's this person, and the like that. So I'll go to see more like this. I want to see more images like this, more photos like this. I'll go to this. Okay, this is what I have. Oh, I think I love this. It's also having orange. So I can go ahead and bring this in. But I would have an issue with it because it's having a white background around it. You can see. We wouldn't want to use an image that is having all of this, and that is one of the major reasons why I would encourage you get a Canva Pro. In those days when you are trying to remove background images, the only option people have is Photoshop, to learn Photoshop. Yes. But thanks to softwares like Canva and the likes, that just bring in any image, in a few seconds, it removes it for you. So even if you are not so familiar with the use of Photoshop and every other graphic design software, industry standard graphic design software, you can still use Canva and do great things. So for this now, let's assume I'll go with this so that I'll put you through some of the things you can do with this. Because for your free account, you can't remove background. I don't think so. Yeah, you can't. It's a pro account that does this. So I would also still give you offer for pro accounts in this particular course, this particular training. So I'll go ahead, after selecting this, I'll go to my edit image. I want to edit image. So I want to remove background. So you can use background remover, remove background. But ever since I started using Canva, there are some work that I even do on Photoshop that I want to remove background of images and the like. Rather than use Photoshop that I know how to use very, very well, I'll just bring it to Canva, remove the background, download it and go and use it in Photoshop or whatever design I want to use. Because here in Canva, I don't do anything precisely, except maybe for little tweaks that I might add to it. But in Photoshop, I would have to make sure it comes out well and all of those paparazzi. So I'll just go ahead and remove background. I've clicked on that. It's going to process for a few seconds. So Canva has done the magic. So the white background around this is gone. And you can see that it's really neat. Really neat. So I'll click on apply. For me to endorse that remover, click on apply. So I will scale this down. Now we talked about proportion when we were looking at the elements of design. I'll just delete this. Let me go with this one. I think I love this more than this. Just delete this. Right, au revoir. So for this in particular, we talked about proportion when we were looking at elements of design. It will be wrong for me to put this way. Proportion isn't realistic. If you have a plate of food and then the cup is as big as this, almost times 3 or 4 of it. So we'll still have to bear all of those in mind. Although there are instances in which you use unrealistic proportion to show exaggeration. That is, you just want to put in some exaggeration that hey, this thing is really big or whatever. So, but for this, we are not really doing that. So we'll scale this down, something like this. Let's say I'll bring this image a little bit to the side. This will come a little bit this way. Okay. So I'm good to go with this. Now let's assume this image, I want to crop it. Cropping means that I don't want it, all of this part that is not having anything, I'll just crop it directly. So you can go to crop at the top here. Once the image is selected, so you can crop it to whatever you want it to do. I'm only saying this so that you also have an idea of cropping. So let me cancel. Another way of cropping is to use the crop grid here. This is this line here, not the circles here. This line, just drag it, crop it this way, and then let's drag it this way so that it will fit into its actual size that way. Okay, so I'm pretty okay with this. So another thing I want to do to this is that I want to flip this image. That is, the so rather than pointing this way, it should point this way. So with this selected, I'll go to flip and flip horizontally. Because we want to flip horizontally, not vertically. Vertically we turn it upside down, of course not. I'll undo that, Ctrl Z. So this is what I wanted. So I can move this closer to this. Okay, so with this achieved now, I wouldn't want to do much with this. My time is fast spent. I don't want to do much with this, so I want you to still complete it up on your own and see how you can be creative about it. So I'll just go right away and start adding some few things. So since we are going with hot noodles, whatever, I'll come back to my element and I'll search for hot. Okay, I need an icon like this. And let me see if I can get another one. Hot. And let me just, instead of all, let me go with graphics. I want graphically related illustration like that. This is good. Let me just go with this, and this is also a good one. So I'll click on this. So for this graphic that have been brought in, selected, I'll go to the properties bar here and click on this, change the color to the color set I've been using so far. Scale it down this way. Okay, start scaling it down. Let's assume I put it this way. Let me move this man so closer to the plate. Okay, so I can make multiple selection. Click on this and click on this. Hold down Shift and click on this to select both. So I can move both of them a little bit this way. I think it's not centralized now. Okay, so this let's say I'll move both of them down a little bit. I use my Shift and arrow down button on my keyboard. Do that. Okay. So I'll just move this way. I'll duplicate this. Just hold down Alt and then drag this. So I have an extra copy now. I will scale this down this way. And I will rotate it a little bit. Like I said, it's just all about being creative. It's not a must you put all of this. So for these two now, I'll select both of them, hold down Shift and select. Selected both of them. I'll go to the transparency. I'll reduce the transparency. I don't want them to be too obvious like that. So they are more like we are trying to illustrate something like smoke that as the thing they hot, just come and eat it and take something cold on it. Okay, so I wouldn't do much with this. I'll go ahead and add the last text. So text, I'll hit T, letter T. Paragraph text, I'll type in order now, or whatever other call to action you want to add. Okay, so for this, I'll go and increase the size to, let's say 24. Let's say 26. It's pretty okay. So for this, I'll select this. I want the color to be, let me still leave it at black. So with this text selected, I want to add a text effect because I want the order now to be more like this. The dash is white and then have a background around it. Of course, I can create the order now text and then create a shape around this. But I wouldn't want to do that, so that I also introduce it to some other things. And I didn't even bother myself about the fonts in terms of the typeface I'm using. Poppins, medium, I'm still okay with it, and consistency. Using too much of font is not good, as you said earlier. So if I want to change it, I can so just decide to change it to place emphasis on this, give it a font, give this one a different font, at least 2 fonts. Using 2 fonts is pretty okay. So after selecting order now, I'll go to effect. I want to add an effect to this text. There are several effects you can add. I can go to background and add a background to it. So the background will be added. This is the roundness. How round do I want it to be? Let's say I'll just leave it this way. The spread, how much do I want it to spread around the text? If you want it to spread bigger around the text, I'll just leave it this way as well. I'll increase the roundness a little bit more. Okay. For the transparency, I'll leave it as 100% opaque. Then the color, I'll change the color to my color set. I'm okay with that. I'll go over to this. I'll change the color of the text itself to white. This way. And I can go over and drag this towards the center. This way. So after doing this, I want to round up in the next 2 minutes. After doing this, I can go ahead and add some other things to it, like we have here text by the 2 sides, the phone number, or whatever other thing that I want to add. Before I do that, I'll select this and this other smoke and this other smoke. Let's also look at the group feature. You can also decide to group an item. So just use group here or Ctrl G. It has grouped all of those. So for the group now, as a group, I can go to the position and try to align it to the center. This way. It's pretty okay this way. So I think we have something similar to this. So I can go ahead as well. All of this, my text looks a little bit small. Select everything and then scale it. Let's say something like this. Let's give it much, a little bit of emphasis. So I'll put it by the center. Use my arrow button to move it upward a little bit. So for this, I can leave it this way. Then add the text. So for yours now, the assignment you'll be doing is, the first project you'll be doing is that you help Ellen communicate this particular intent of ours. Of course, not using the same sample I've used. Come up with your own ideas. You can use any of the template that you have, that you see, that you like, and then use it as a guide. Just come up with your own design. Once you come up with your own design, put your own words. It might not be special promo per se. It can be promo. It can be whatever action you want to use for it. So so I'll add a text to this. So what you'll be putting for yours is at whatever your name is. Labanji Jeremiah. So let's assume that's a link, social media handle or whatever. But we are not really considering that. For what we are mostly interested in is to come up with the design. Then I'll hold down Alt and Shift to drag this to the side. Okay. So let's assume I'll reduce this text to like so, and this as well, like so. Then I want to align everything here, all these 3 horizontally. That's position. Selecting everything, I want them to be aligned to the middle vertically. So you can see it has placed and adjust all of those. Then I want this to be dragged this way. Now you can notice that as I'm dragging, it's trying to tell me that At this point, the distance between this and this is 118. Distance between this and this is 118. I'm pretty okay with that. So with that, I'll just change this to phone number. So you can still do a lot of things to this. So the last part now is where it puts tomato and whatever. Though they added some things by the side, but you can go ahead and add that. Tomato at the top and lettuce over at the bottom. I'll just go ahead to this. Tomato. Okay. So once you are done, you can still do a lot of things to this. So if I still feel like I want to do something, it's auto save. You can just do a lot of things. I can bring in a rectangle, just hit letter R for rat. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce R. So this is a rectangle, and then for this rectangle I can decide to leave it the same way and drag it to the top. Let me reduce my size. Just drag it to the top here. Just to make it look a little bit different. So once we include something, there's something very important. That's the word free. Because as Africans, Nigerians particular, we love saying the word free. But there are some people that they cannot read and write, but they know when they see the word free. Yes, once they see the word free, they know this one is free of LLA. So we want to use the word free. So I'll just go ahead and bring in shape. So I can use the rectangle tool as well, this way. So but it's not a rectangle we want. So at the top here, you can decide to change the shape. So I want to use something like a call out. Is it here? I'll just select that. I'll bring it. I can add the text inside, but I don't want to add the text inside so that I'll be able to manipulate the text independently. I'll come over to this, scale this down. I don't believe that no one is creative. Everybody is creative in his or her own way. So just find out the way in which you can be creative with this. For this text free, I'll add an effect to it. There are several few effects you can use here. I'll use shadow. And for the shadow, the transparency, I'll increase the transparency. The shadow color, I'll change it to black. You can see the effect there. So after, let me go back to the effect. After changing it to black, I can change the blur. I want it to be a little bit blurry. Then the direction offset, that is what should be the distance of the shadow from it. So with this direction, I'll leave it as -5 degrees. -5. Then the offset, that is how far should it be from the text. So this is what I want, something like this. Okay, increase the blur. The transparency, let's turn it down a little bit here. So, okay. So let's assume I'm okay with this. You can still add several other things to this, whichever way you want. So you can still decide that this text will give it a kind of effect. You can use a what's it called? A neon effect to give you some kind of blurry edges around it. So you can choose it to be none. You can also use a lift as well. Lift will give it some kind of, not lift, echo. Echo will give it some kind of 3D-like effect. So where you can adjust that if you want. I think I love this a little bit. Just to give emphasis to that word, noodles. Yeah. So if you are done, you just go ahead and share. So I'll go ahead and download. So what's the size? I'll leave it this way if you want to increase it. But I don't want to compress lower cost. Now at this point, select the pages you want to download. Not all page 2 pages. I'll check this. It's only page 1. Page 2 was just the sample we copied. So we'll hit download. So once you hit download, once you select that, you just hit download, and then it starts getting downloaded. So once it downloads, you can now share it to the group. To me via the group. So that is all on this. Like I said, be creative. So I'll recommend that you still go ahead with this, practice as much as possible, and come up with a project. You have a wonderful rest of the day.